princess, and has just revealed a royal secret that's turning heads, and it came straight from King Charles himself. In a moment that left both Prince William and Prince Harry surprised, the Princess Royal shared a deeply personal request from the king. It wasn't just unexpected, it was emotional, intimate, and so surprising that even his sons were left speechless, unsure of what it truly means for the future of the monarchy and their family. When Prince Harry showed up alone at Windsor, it was impossible not to notice Meghan wasn't there by his side, and that said more than words ever could. Even the staff could feel it. This wasn't just a regular royal family meeting. You could hear it in their hushed voices. Harry's solo arrival only highlighted how far things had drifted between him, Meghan, and the rest of the royal family. Inside those old palace walls, the silence was heavy, like everyone was holding back 100 things they wanted to say. The increased security made it clear this wasn't about small talk or catching up. It was about the future of the monarchy, and no one knew where it was heading, not even Prince William. King Charles, who would normally lead a meeting like this, stayed silent. Instead, he asked Princess Anne to speak for him. That alone broke royal tradition and signaled that this moment was anything but ordinary. Charles hadn't been seen much lately, and those who had seen him knew his health was clearly declining. King Charles chose Princess Anne to speak on his behalf. And known for being direct and composed, wasn't just a practical choice, it meant something deeper. In a family that often tiptoes around issues, and was the one who could be counted on to tell it straight. Just seeing her there, standing at the front, told everyone how serious this really was. The seating arrangement spoke volumes. Instead of the usual hierarchical order, family members were positioned in a circle. Yet the physical distance between Harry and William was visible, a silent notice to the rift that had grown over the years. Traditionally, King Charles would have addressed the family directly, asserting his authority as monarch. But by choosing Anne, Charles conveyed a message of both trust and urgency. Anne's presence embodied a bridge between the old guard and the future, a reminder that the monarchy must evolve while holding on to its core values. When she finally spoke, her words sliced through the tension like a knife. This wasn't just another royal update, it was a massive turning point. The slow handover of royal duties that everyone expected was suddenly being rushed. Prince William looked surprised. The crown wasn't years away anymore, as he thought, it was just months. The family were divided in words and opinions almost as soon as the words left Anne's mouth. Prince Edward, usually the one trying to keep the peace, was suddenly caught in the middle of it all. Even Camilla, who rarely speaks up in moments like these, said the changes were moving too fast. Everyone was trying to process what they'd just heard, and old tensions quickly rose to the surface. Charles felt he had no choice. His health was failing him, and with the monarchy already weakened by scandals, public doubt, and family drama, something had to change, and fast. He'd spent many sleepless nights working through this plan, speaking only to the few people he trusted most. Having and deliver the message wasn't just smart, it was intentional. He needed someone who could say the hard stuff without all the ceremony. But this wasn't just about giving William the throne. It was about rethinking what the monarchy should even be in a world that's becoming more skeptical of it every day. Polls showed that support for the royals was dropping fast, especially among young people in nations starting to question the monarchy's place. Charles understood they couldn't keep following the same script anymore. He'd come up with something bold: fewer royals on duty, more access to the palaces by the public, and complete openness about how the monarchy handles its finances. Ideas that would have been unthinkable a few years ago were now placed on the table as the only solution. William was still the heir, but what he'd inherit was a very different kind of monarchy. It wouldn't be about parades and crowns anymore. It had to be about staying relevant, making an impact, and moving with the times and seasons. What happened at Windsor wasn't just a gathering, it was a wake-up call. The silence that followed wasn't just a surprise. It was the sound of history being rewritten, legacy forged in fire. Charles didn't make this decision out of nowhere. It came from a lifetime shaped by royal pressure, personal sacrifice, and echoes of past crises. Back in 1936, the royal family was shaken to its core when Edward VIII gave up the throne to marry the woman he loved, Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. This happened less than a year into his reign as king. That choice threw his younger brother, George VI, into a role he never prepared for, to the extent that it nearly brought down the monarchy altogether. That moment taught the Windsors a hard lesson. Change can come fast, and not always on their own terms. When George VI died in 1952 at age 56 as a result of coronary thrombosis in his sleep, his daughter Elizabeth suddenly became queen at age 25. She was young, unprepared, and faced with an overwhelming burden. Yet she took it on, and for the next 70 years, she became the one constant in a changing world. But even during her reign of steady leadership, the royal family was under pressure behind the scenes. Charles grew up watching his mother live in sacrifice. She gave everything to the crown, her time, her freedom, and often her personal happiness. Queen Elizabeth's official royal duties began while her first two children were still quite young. She and Philip famously embarked on a 6-month Commonwealth tour. Soon after her coronation, leaving Charles and Anne at home in England, his mother was part of a generation and class that routinely left the daily care of small children to the household staff. As a boy, Charles learned early that being royal wasn't a dream, it was a duty. He felt that his mother was cold and aloof because that was how she behaved. For Elizabeth, being queen meant giving up herself. When she passed away in 2022, the monarchy lost more than its longest-serving monarch, it lost its anchor. Her death uncovered just how fragile things really were under the surface. And then, not long after, came Charles's cancer diagnosis. Suddenly, he wasn't just the new king. He was a man racing against time. Charles had waited decades to wear the crown only to realize he might not wear it for long. Historians noted the irony. The monarchy often delays transitions until it's almost too late. Charles didn't want that for William. He knew firsthand how damaging it could be to step into the role under pressure without preparation. So he began planning not just for his exit, but for a better handover. Though known for his patience, Charles was now in a hurry. The monarchy, once a symbol of strength, was now something delicate. Every event he attended was quietly backed by a medical team. Every appearance timed with precision. He had studied how other royal families in Europe had collapsed after rushed abdications and was determined not to make the same mistake. Liberalism, nationalism, and the devastating impact of World War I that occurred in Europe demonstrated that the hereditary monarchy was mortal, susceptible to perishing, so he began making bold moves that would have been unimaginable during past reigns. He called for total financial transparency. He also welcomed calls from the Ethiopian government to return sacred artifacts taken by British forces during the 1868 Battle of Magdala. He even proposed turning parts of royal estates into housing that ordinary people could afford. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, William and Kate began taking on more responsibility. Insiders revealed that William now received the famous red boxes containing government documents, a quiet but clear sign that Charles was already passing the baton. But this moment wasn't just about succession, it was about survival. Charles wasn't focused on legacy in the usual royal sense. He wanted to leave behind a monarchy that could survive a changing world. One that wasn't stuck in the past but could evolve. One that would be ready when William's time came. In reshaping the future, Charles was doing more than preparing to step aside. He was proving that even an ancient crown could bend with the times and still hold its place. The rift that shook the crown. No royal family is immune to conflict, but the rift between Prince William and Harry has been one of the most public and painful divides in recent history. Once inseparable brothers, their relationship has fractured under the weight of personal grievances, media scrutiny, and differing visions for their futures. The origins of their rift are complex. It includes years of intense media attention, disagreements over royal duties, and Harry's decision to step back from the royal family alongside his wife, Meghan Markle. This move shocked the world and sent ripples through the monarchy. Interviews, memoirs, and public statements have only deepened the divide, exposing raw emotions and unresolved tensions. For William, the future king, Harry's departure felt like a betrayal. He has taken on more responsibility, determined to uphold the monarchy's traditions and stability. Harry, meanwhile, has sought a new identity outside the palace walls, prioritizing personal freedom and mental health. Their different paths have created a gulf that neither side has fully bridged. This rift doesn't just affect the brothers, it has shaken the entire royal family and captivated the public's imagination. It raises questions about loyalty, duty, and what it means to be royal in the 21st century. Can the family heal these wounds, or is the monarchy facing a new era defined by division? William's wife, Kate, might have some sympathy for her brother-in-law. After Harry delivered a bombshell interview after he lost his security appeal, the Princess of Wales is reportedly urging her lovely husband to settle things out with his estranged brother. Speculations going round suggested that divorce is not avoidable as she continues on this path. Kate has urged all members of the working royal family to lighten up on Harry, reach out, and finally make peace with one another. This is what Charles longs for. However, the reality of things could make things pretty hard. It's unlikely to happen, but Kate is trying her best as she knows the family can't afford any more tragedies or scandals. Kate's strength came from remaining grounded despite entering a family that is based on tradition and hierarchy. She is also known to handle public challenges quite well. Her approval ratings consistently outpaced most other family members, including William at times. Kate Middleton has quietly become the heart and soul of the royal family. Her warmth, especially with Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George, speaks volumes about the deep bonds she's built at home. Even the Queen's famously picky corgis, who've never taken easily to strangers, seem to drop down their guards when around Kate. In a family often known for its stiff upper lip, she has become a quiet yet steady force. Kate has found a way to gently introduce a softer, more emotionally present style of parenting, and she's done it without stepping on centuries of tradition. Instead of breaking royal customs, she's been weaving something more human into them. But things aren't like they used to be. The royal family no longer lives behind palace walls. Today, many of their activities are captured, uploaded, and observed by millions all over the globe in real time. This is entirely different. Back then, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, it took hours, if not days, for news to travel across a distance. News could also be filtered through some trusted broadcasters. Now, one tweet or video clip can shape headlines across the globe in seconds. Every royal outing becomes a potential viral moment, and every misstep risks becoming a PR firestorm. Charles knew the rules had changed the moment he became king, so he acted fast. He immediately set up the Royal Social Media Council. This brought together old-school advisors and sharp young digital experts. Their job was to help the monarchy stay relevant in the digital space. At first, some traditionalists weren't sure what to make of it. There were concerns that the royals might start chasing clout or watering down their dignity. But the results were fantastic. The council now plays a key role behind the scenes, tracking global online reactions, identifying issues before they escalate, and helping shape how the family communicates with the public. In a recent BBC interview, Prince Harry expressed that he wanted to reconcile with his family, especially with his father, King Charles's ailing health. "I would love reconciliation with my family," he confessed. "There's no point in fighting anymore. Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff, but it would be nice to reconcile," he said. The final wish. King Charles's reign has been anything but easy. Yet behind the formalities and ceremonies, there lies a quiet, deeply human wish, one that has nothing to do with power or legacy. Late at night, when the world falls silent, those close to Charles say he often returns to old photo albums. He lingers on pictures of his sons William and Harry as carefree young boys, back when their bond was unbreakable and life was simpler. He doesn't dream of bringing Harry back into the royal fold. That ship has sailed. But he does dream of something smaller, more fragile, like a parent-to-son conversation. A chance to end the silence, though the rift between father and son has grown wide. Charles never truly cut ties. When speaking directly became too painful, too complicated, he turned to trusted messengers, people who could carry his words without inflaming wounds. Because for him, family is not just a choice. It's a duty, one that doesn't disappear no matter how far. My mother was the queen for a very long time, and although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much. I mean, that was my life. There was no way of telling that it wasn't ordinary. I mean, as far as I knew, there were lots of other people who grew up that way. But it was the concept of how to help children and the very simple, rather straightforward approach to health. Charles knows the monarchy must stand strong, but he also knows that the institution rests on human bonds. And those bonds, especially between father and sons, are worth fighting for, even when they're frayed. As his health declined, the weight of this hope became heavier. Time, once abundant, now felt dangerously short. That's why, during a quiet family gathering at Windsor, Princess Anne spoke up. Known for her honesty and respected by both brothers, she voiced her brother's wish without sugarcoating it. Reconciliation, she said, wasn't just a kind idea. It was a responsibility. Still, even Anne wasn't sure it could happen. She's watched both sides dig in, pride and pain hardening the distance. And while she carried Charles's message faithfully, she knew it was only half the battle. The rest would depend on whether either son was ready to reach across the divide. In the end, King Charles's final wish wasn't about royal image or legacy. It was about something far more personal, the hope that his family might find a way back to each other before it was too late. William faces a profound choice. Will he honor his father's wish for a tentative opening toward reconciliation? Or will he decisively close the door on Harry's departure from royal life? This decision will not only affect family dynamics but will also shape public perception of the monarchy for decades to come. The British public watches closely, aware that the unity or division within the royal family reflects on the institution itself. Concerning this issue, royal expert Hilary Forich told Fox News, "Over the years the gulf has widened between Prince William and Harry, all due to Harry's ever-public denigration of the royal family, not the least of which has been this most recent BBC interview. Prince William is more resolved than ever to take action once he becomes king. His overriding concern is protecting the monarchy, which he sees as denigrated by commercial endeavors." Behind the palace walls, advisors and strategists debate fervently over the best path forward. Some advocate for a clean break, removing titles, clarifying succession lines, and streamlining the monarchy to focus solely on those who remain fully committed to royal duties. This camp argues that such decisiveness would strengthen the institution's stability during a time of transition. However, others caution that an abrupt severance might backfire, potentially generating public sympathy for Harry and Meghan, especially if it coincides with King Charles's declining health. Royal historians remind all involved that historically divided royal families have often weakened the monarchy's standing and public support. The legacy of past familial rifts, such as the abdication crisis of Edward VIII, serves as a sobering reminder of the risks inherent in internal discord. Those closest to William report that he is growing in confidence and demonstrates a willingness to make difficult, sometimes unpopular, decisions. Charles's final message to his son was not merely a request for unity. It was a test of William's vision for the monarchy's future and his ability to balance the demands of the institution with the complexities of family. The royal brothers' true identity goes beyond titles and public roles. The revelation of the king's final wish peeled back the layers to reveal the true identities of William and Harry, not just as princes, but as brothers shaped by love, rivalry, and the immense pressures of royal life. William embodies the future of the monarchy. He carries the crown's weight with a sense of duty ingrained since childhood. His identity is intertwined with tradition, responsibility, and the expectation to lead with dignity. Yet beneath the poised exterior lies a man wrestling with the challenge of modernizing an ancient institution while honoring its legacy. "I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out." Harry's identity is more complex. His choice to step back from royal duties was a bold assertion of independence, a search for self beyond the palace walls. Harry represents a new kind of royal, one who challenges conventions and seeks to define his own path. His struggles with mental health and the media spotlight have humanized him in ways few expected. The king's final wish forced both brothers to confront who they truly are and what they mean to each other. It was a reminder that despite their differences, their bond is rooted in shared history and family love. This moment of vulnerability opened the door to potential healing and a redefinition of their relationship. For the monarchy, this revelation should not be taken lightly. The future depends not just on protocol but on the genuine connection between its key figures. William and Harry's journey from rivalry to understanding could shape the crown's legacy for generations. As Prince William edges closer to the throne, it's clear he plans to lead differently from his father. While King Charles often took a quieter, more reserved approach, William shows a willingness to speak plainly, draw clear lines, and make tough decisions early on. One of the first signs of this shift, insiders say, is that once he becomes king, William may formally strip Harry and Meghan of their Royal Highness titles. Technically, they still hold the titles, though they stopped using them after stepping back from royal duties. For William, that gray area isn't just awkward, it's problematic in a world where every headline travels the globe in seconds. He believes the monarchy must be crystal clear about who represents it and who doesn't. This belief became even firmer after a recent incident. A foreign diplomat accidentally referred to Meghan as Her Royal Highness in a public post. It was a small slip, but for William, it highlighted just how confusing and unresolved things still are. That kind of ambiguity, he feels, can no longer be allowed to linger. To him, if someone chooses to walk away from royal duties, they shouldn't continue carrying titles that suggest otherwise. It's about fairness, clarity, and protecting the integrity of an institution constantly under the public microscope. Oh, what do you think? Will the heir apparent honor his father's final wish in the long run, or will he stand his ground and protect the crown's stability? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe for further updates.